Hey guys, welcome to class. My name is Shay and I'm an ESL instructor in Portland, Oregon. Welcome to my channel, English Taught Right. Today, we're going to be doing a vocabulary exercise for intermediate to advanced English speakers. Specifically, we're going to be doing a picture description or describing the woman here on the right in very great detail. So, what I want you to do is this, is using your English, use these 13 criteria listed on the left to describe her appearance. So for example, how would you describe the setting here? Or how would you describe these clothes? Or her physique? What adjectives do you know that can describe her hair? Or her eyes, or her eyebrows? What can you say about her nose, or her mouth, or her teeth? How can you describe her chin and her jawline? What about her face shape? And lastly, what would you say about her skin and complexion? So what you should do here is pause the video and write out your answers, hopefully in the comments below. And then in the next slide, we shall continue our description together. So pause the video here and put in as much detail as you can. All right, hopefully you got a lot of good detail in your description. So let's begin. First, let's talk about the setting. So here we have a woman in her early to mid 20s, that's 20 to 26 years of age approximately, is jogging or running slowly over long distances in a park. So a woman in her 20s is jogging in a park. The weather looks clear, or at least not raining, but looking at the light, it might be overcast, and that just means all clouds, no blue sky. In the background, there's lots of green grass and foliage. And foliage is just this stuff here in the background. So behind her, you see all this green stuff, foliage or plant matter. Trees, grass, leaves, these types of things. All right, now let's talk about her clothes. So she's wearing a hot pink running jersey with a matching armband case for her phone. So hot pink is a great way to describe this particular color. This particular shade of pink is loud, vibrant, bright, eye-catching. These are all words you can use to describe this, but a simple way is just hot pink or very bright pink. A running jersey is just a t-shirt designed for jogging or for running. They're heavier than a normal t-shirt to protect you from the elements. Also, they tend to be smooth, so it doesn't irritate your skin as you move around in it. Now, looking here, she has an armband case for her phone. You can say that this case matches her shirt because they are roughly the same color, or they match in color. So her armband case matches her jersey. Then you see a cord which runs along here and connects to here. And you can call these in-the-ear headphones. Some people say earbuds, but that's actually an Apple product. So a specific way is in-the-ear headphones, or you can say headphones in a more general sense. Now, let's talk about her physique. Physique refers to body shape and type. So looking at the woman on the right, her physique is thin and toned. You can also describe this as an athletic build. So she's not very wide here in the shoulders, her arms aren't very wide, so you can describe her as thin. Toned means the muscles that you can see. So for example, looking at this woman over here, she is very toned. You can see all of her muscles here. You can see her deltoids. You can see her triceps. You can see her biceps. You can see her abdominals, all very clearly. So she exercises a lot, eats well, and has very low body fat. Now, back over here. This woman is toned. You can see some of her muscles, but she's not as toned as the woman on the left. But still, she looks like she's in good shape, eats well, and exercises regularly. Another way to describe her physique is svelte. So the woman here is very svelte, and that is somebody who is thin and elegant. And to me, at least personally, I think she looks svelte, thin, elegant, like she might be good at dancing. All right. She looks like she's in good enough shape, so if we went jogging together, I imagine she would leave me in the dust or be much faster than me and have me sucking wind, being out of breath in no time. So if somebody's sucking wind, they're like, slow down, dude. I gotta quit smoking. Right. So that would be somebody who is sucking wind or out of breath. So she'd be leaving me in the dust, running faster than me, and I'd be sucking wind trying to catch up. How did you describe her hair? So here we can see that her hair is long, very long. It's thick. There's a lot of it. It's black, dark color, and it's wavy like this over here. So looking at other hair types, here's what a straight hair would look like these three. Here'd be wavy hair, so hair that goes back and forth. And I imagine this woman's hair would be something like this, like one of these or one of these. And then curly hair just makes wavy hair that's tighter. All right, so looking over here, you can see thick and wavy. Another way to describe her hair would you could use jet black, which just means to be a very black type of hair. Like, for example, jet black eyebrows right here. So she has jet black, thick, wavy hair. Another detail you can add is that her hair is tied back in a ponytail, and that's this thing right here. Another example of a ponytail would be this. So tied back, a pony, a small horse, and then tail. So you think of a horse's tail when you think of a ponytail. So what adjectives did you use to describe her eyes? I'm going to zoom in here. All right, so here is her eye. This black part here is called the pupil. And then this part here that's responsible for the coloring of the eye is called the iris. So she has a normal black pupil with very dark brown irises, almost black. And then this part of the eye is referred to as the white of the eye. And so looking at her, she's got nice, clear whites of her eyes. These eyes, the whites, are glassy. I'm getting a little closer there. So she's been drinking a little bit of alcohol. So there's too much water here. Her eyes are glassy. Versus her eyes are very clear. Or she's very clear-eyed would be another way to express that. Another adjective you can use to describe her eyes would be almond-shaped. So you see how her eyes are kind of thin and long. It sort of resembles the almond or the delicious nut that I like to eat all the time. So here is an almond. Notice the shape versus her eyes, right? So almond-shaped eyes. Looking at her eyelashes, right here, she has thick, so there's a decent amount of hair here, so thick, long, so they go up a decent way, right? So thick, long eyelashes. Now let's talk about her eyebrows. So her eyebrows are long, they go a good distance from here to here. They're thick, which just means there's a good amount of hair here. And then black or jet black in color. They are widely spaced, and widely spaced eyebrows have a lot of distance from here to here. So widely spaced eyebrows. Looking at another pair of eyebrows. So these eyebrows are long, right? They have a long distance here and here. These are very thick, so there's a lot of hair here. They're pretty widely spaced, so the distance from here to here isn't as big as the other woman's, but there's still a good amount of distance. Another detail you can add with these eyebrows is that they are painted, or they have makeup in there, so they look like they're even thicker. So thick, long, brown, painted eyebrows. All right. Her eyebrows are actually not painted, so her eyebrows are natural. What did you have to say about her nose? So looking at her nose, this is called the tip of her nose, and this is the high point of her nose. And then this part here is called the bridge. So the bridge goes from the tip up between the eyes. And so here is the tip, and we can describe this as a sunken bridge because her bridge is below the tip of her nose. So in contrast, here is a raised bridge. Here's the tip of her nose, and you see that her nose, the bridge of her nose, goes higher than the tip. So she has a raised bridge or a rounded bridge. Sometimes this is referred to as a Roman nose. Versus here is a sunken bridge where the bridge is lower than the tip. Another way to describe this woman's nose is that her nose is tall. So here is her cheekbone. And you see that her nose raises quite a bit off of her cheekbone. And so we can call this a tall nose. So here is a tall nose with a sunken bridge versus a tall nose with a raised bridge or a rounded bridge. Looking at her nose, we can say she has a sunken bridge and a flat nose. So here is her cheekbone. And then here is her nose, and you see it doesn't raise as high as the other one. So this is more flat. So she has a sunken bridge with a flat nose. Another way you can describe her nose is being petite, which means it's not a very big nose. It's a small nose. It's petite. And then looking at her nostrils, that's this area right here, you can describe her nostrils as being very round. A little large, so medium-sized to somewhat large, round nostrils, versus these nostrils. These nostrils are tear-shaped, like a drop of rain. And these nostrils can be considered small to medium-sized, so small to medium-sized, tear-shaped nostrils versus medium-shaped to large, round nostrils. Now what about her mouth? So here are her lips. I would describe her lips as being full. So they're nice and wide here versus somebody who might have thin lips, which would look more like this. So looking at full lips, big distance here to here, to thin lips, where there isn't much distance here. So she's got pretty full lips, not huge, but pretty full. And I would say her mouth is wide, so it goes from here to here, which is a pretty decent distance. It's not super wide, but maybe a little bit wide. How did you describe her teeth? So one of the first things I could mention is that she has a slight overbite, meaning her top teeth hang over her lower teeth. For another example of an overbite, would be this. So this is a very heavy overbite or a severe overbite where the teeth really hang over the bottom teeth. But looking at her teeth, or her overbite, it's very slight. It's barely even there. So a slight overbite. Her teeth are straight, so they all point down in the correct direction and they're all evenly spaced. And then they're even. So you see the bottoms of her teeth all come down to about where they should, close to the same level. So nice, straight, even teeth. Her teeth are also pearly white, which just means to be quite white or very white. So looking at her teeth in comparison to a real pearl, right? You see the pearl is very white, like snow. So comparing that to her teeth, her teeth aren't that much darker than that pearl. So you can describe this as pearly white, or being able to see her pearly whites. So she's showing us her pearly whites, or her pearly white teeth. She's also smiling from ear to ear, and that just means a nice big smile. So this expression would mean like her smile goes all the way back to her ears, right? Obviously, that's impossible, but an expression is she's smiling from ear to ear. She's giving us a nice big smile. Now, to her chin and jawline. So here is her chin. I describe her chin as being long. So here is where the chin starts at the bottom of her lip. And then you have this space here, and then we have her chin. So there's a good amount of distance from the bottom of her lip to the bottom of her chin here. So her chin is long versus a short chin. So looking at this chin, you see there's not as much space between her lip and her chin. So we can describe this as a short chin. So a short chin versus a long one. Now, the neckline or jawline is this line right here. It's the line that runs from the bottom of the ear around her chin and then back to the other side. It's the place where the jawbone here connects to the neck here. And so looking at her jawline, she's got a nice strong jawline, meaning it's easy to see where her chin and her neck are, versus a weak jawline. So looking at this jawline, you see here's her neck, here's her jawline, but you can't really tell where one begins and one ends. And then you have all this skin hanging off. So this jawline is strong, right? You can clearly see that line versus a weak jawline here. So back to her, you see that her jawline is pretty strong. You can also describe her jaw as being square. So from here to here, and on the other side of her face, it's roughly the same width. So her jaw is square. So looking at this side of her jaw to this side of her jaw, it's about the same distance as here to over here. So a nice square jaw. And these are things you want. They make you more attractive. Now, what about her neck? An easy way to describe this is she has a long, thin neck. So it's long this way and thin this way, or not very wide. Another more creative way to describe her neck is that she has a willowy neck. And that word is described from this, the willow tree. So if you look at all of the thin branches on the willow tree, you'll see that that can apply creatively to her neck. So she has a long, thin neck, or she has a willowy neck. Her face shape. This one's pretty easy. So her face is longer from here to here than it is from here to here. And that means that she has an oval-shaped face, or roughly like this. So longer from here to here, shorter from here to here, versus a round face, where the distances from here to here and here to here are roughly even, versus like a triangular face. And former President Barack Obama was famous for his triangle-shaped head. But her face is oval-shaped. Now, skin and complexion. So rather than referring to race to describe somebody, she's black, or she's African American, or she's Latino, or he's white, rather than using those types of words, I prefer to use these types of words. Golden skin, almond skin, chestnut skin, espresso skin. And I feel that these words, they're not going to offend anybody, and they more accurately describe what somebody looks like. So looking at her skin, it's pretty dark. So I would describe skin that is this shade as being espresso colored. So she's got nice, dark, or espresso colored skin. Now, complexion refers to a person's skin condition or the health of their skin. So her complexion is smooth, right? It's not very rough, and it's clear. There aren't any blemishes. Versus this person. So here would be a smooth complexion, and it's clear. Whereas over here we have blemishes or these little red spots here. So smooth complexion versus rough complexion versus clear complexion versus rough complexion. So her skin is smooth and clear. All right, well that's about it. So in conclusion, here is a paragraph we could write that describes her appearance. So here we have an athletic, svelte woman in her early to mid-20s jogging in a park. Behind her is some foliage, and she is wearing a hot pink jogging jersey with a matching armband case. Her hair is long, black, and wavy, and also tied back in a ponytail. She has very dark brown irises and almond-shaped eyes that are clear. Her eyebrows are thick, long, and widely spaced. She has a slight overbite, but smiles with full lips and straight pearly white teeth. Her chin is long, and she has a strong jawline. Also, her face is oval-shaped, and she has a clear, espresso-colored complexion. And of course, thank you for watching my first video if you've made it this far. I hope it helped, and I hope you learned a lot of new words. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe, because there's going to be more content coming very soon. So keep up the good work, and may the force be with you. Ciao!